Good morning, everyone, and greetings from the central square, or a central square, in Kaunas, the second largest city in Lithuania. So I've just arrived here, or I arrived here yesterday from Vilnius, of which I made fairly extensive videos yesterday. And so I'm here in Kaunas as kind of a stopover. Kaunas is sort of a gateway city because it's in the middle. Vilnius is off to the east, and it's actually close to the border with Belarus in the east. But Kaunas is a very central city, and so that makes it probably more important in some ways than Vilnius. I was thinking about it yesterday, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of the relationship between Dresden and Leipzig in the German land of Sachsen, or Saxony as it's called in English. So the capital city of Sachsen is Dresden, and Dresden is wonderful for tourists. Like, if you go there as a tourist, it's gorgeous. It has so many of those old sandstone sculptures and buildings. It's really marvelous to take in. But Dresden is kind of it's not, economically, it's not necessarily that advantaged of a city. Whereas if you go to Leipzig, Leipzig was, a few years ago, it might still be, but at least a few years ago when I checked, it was the fastest growing city in all of Germany. Everybody wanted to go to Leipzig because there's a very large and very prestigious university there, and it's relatively inexpensive to live there, or it was. Prices are probably going up now because everybody's moving in there. But the point is that the relationship between those two cities is kind of like, it feels to me kind of like the relationship between Vilnius and Kaunas here. Vilnius is a wonderful city for tourists. There's a lot to see there as a tourist. And as the capital city, it of course bears a lot of historical importance. But it seems to me that Kaunas is a more... all these people... I don't know if this is a school tour or something. I don't like to film people when they're walking around. They probably wouldn't mind. These look like high school students, so they probably wouldn't mind being on a YouTube video, but you know how it is. People are sometimes very... People are sometimes very particular about protecting their privacy. And, you know, with the new GDPR rules here in the European Union, you can't be too careful. Sometimes people really do get very antsy, no pun intended, about privacy laws. So Kaunas really feels like a place where stuff is happening. It feels kind of like, I don't know if it's growing in terms of population, but it feels like a more modern city. It has less landmarks. I mean, I'm here in the old town of Kaunas on the west side, close to the river junction, and, you know, it's a nice looking city. But I wouldn't say there's anything special about it. Like, I wouldn't, in contrast to Vilnius, which I feel is a very, a very appealing city for tourists, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a lot here to draw tourists. If you're looking for a place to go, Kaunas is just kind of a place that, you'd stop off at. As I say, it makes an interesting, well, not interesting, it makes an important transit point because it is in the middle of the country, so roads and rails will kind of intersect here if you're on your way in or out of Lithuania. But I've been here before, and I wouldn't necessarily say there's a lot here to attract tourists. So, in case anyone got the idea from my video on Vilnius that I had a very strong love for Lithuania as a country, or greatly preferred Lithuania as a country, that's not really the case. I'm fairly neutral. I don't really have very strong impressions of Lithuania. I would more say that I have a strong like for Vilnius as a city, but not necessarily for all of Lithuania as a country. I have nothing against Lithuania, but I don't feel like the rest of Lithuania is that attractive. It's kind of hard for me to gauge because I've only seen those two cities. I've only seen Vilnius and Kaunas. I wanted to see Klaipėda on this trip, so there's a nice, allegedly nice, I've never seen it, so I can only report secondhand. There's an allegedly nice seaside city in the west. On the western coast of Lithuania on the Baltic Sea, there is a city called Klaipėda, which I think is the third largest city in Lithuania. And I wanted to, what that basketball there signifies. I guess it just signifies that it's a basketball court. I wanted to go there and check it out, but it's hard to get there. There are not good connections to Klaipėda because it's kind of out of the way. It's kind of stuck in a corner of Vilnius. And to the south is the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad, which used to be Königsberg when it was part of Germany or Prussia or whatever. And so it's hard to get in and out there because it's kind of a dead end. There's only really one way out of it, unless you go through Russia, which obviously right now is probably a little bit more difficult than it normally would be. I mean, I don't think that there are, well, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't think that there are trains or buses running to Kaliningrad now from Klaipėda. Otherwise, if you had a Russian visa or you could just transit through, it might be more convenient to go to Klaipėda, but now is not a good time probably. So I'm not sure what happened last time. My camera told me that there was an error with the previous recording. It looks like it cut off as I was getting to the park here. So I'll repeat the last part just in case it didn't work out for whatever reason. I got a new SD card. My old SD card that I've been using for years got full because I filmed so much in Tallinn and Riga and Vilnius, so I didn't have any more space on it. So I bought a new SD card here, and maybe it's kind of dodgy, maybe it's not necessarily the best quality, I don't know. But I'll just repeat the last part here, which was this park here. So, well, not this is just a basketball court, skate park, basketball court / skate park. And here's a public toilet with a drinking fountain next to it. But I just wanted to get another shot of this park here in case it didn't show up properly in the previous video. This is the Santaka Park. And obviously now it's a little bit more quiet because the weather is not so warm. When I was here last time, it was warmer, and I saw children running around shouting. I saw families running with their dogs. It was a little more lively. Now obviously it's more quiet, but still a nice park, still a nice scene here by the river. Quite like it. Okay, I think with this SD card, I probably shouldn't make videos that are too long, so I'm going to try to make shorter but more frequent videos. It's kind of the mantra of today's society, isn't it? We're told that we should eat shorter but have more frequent meals. That's allegedly healthier than eating 1 or 2 huge meals a day. And we should have smaller but more frequent orgasms, shorter but more frequent relationships with other people so we don't get too attached to them, and shorter but more frequent videos, which is why TikTok has been taking some market share from YouTube. So I'll try making shorter video segments here since this SD card seems to be not too reliable. So the mainland of Kaunas, the part that's connected to the old town there, and this park comes to kind of a point. It forms sort of a point at the end of the at the end of this walkway. So let's, oh, check out that boat. One time, I was with some friends in a boat, and this one guy was on the boat was like, "Come to the back of the boat." So yeah, still a pretty nice scene here with the river on one side there, and also on the other side. And you can see that's the more built-up kind of taller part of the city. And that's the lower part of the city where these single-family homes still prevail. So yeah, let's head out here. You can see right here these small little pools formed by the river are frozen over, but farther out the river is still liquid and still a-flowing. A lot of seagulls on it too. A lot of seagulls here on this part of the river, probably looking for what they can find to eat on that little patch of soggy, swampy turf that they are occupying. I know this is really thrilling footage. I should probably just cut the video and then restart it when I'm actually at the tip there. But I kind of want to give the authentic feeling of what it's like to walk down this gravel path and slowly approach that big orange buoy in the distance there. I wonder if the buoy has a name. My first guess would be David. Yes, I know it was Bowie, not buoy, but I had to make a poor attempt at a joke. Actually, I didn't have to make that attempt at a joke. I could have just not made that joke, but I chose to. I chose to make a poor attempt at a joke, and I bear the full responsibility for the consequences of my decision to do so. Alright, we're almost there now. There's a crow right at the edge there waiting for me. And a seagull. And another crow right there. It did not even react. It was not very impressed by my attempt to do a crow impression. Okay, and I lost the last part of that video again. This SD card can't even handle like 4 minutes of steady video, so that's going to be kind of ridiculous. I'm going to really have to keep these videos short. Anyway, this is the view. So this is the view from the tip of the spit of, or yeah, the tip of the Kaunas spit. These two guys here showed up while I was checking my previous video and noticing that I'd lost the end of the video, so